So they cut the world in half. Spain owns this half of the earth, and Portugal owns this half of the earth. What if I told you the islands where Portugal gets its spices are actually on your half of the earth? And what if I told you you didn't have to sail around Africa to get there? The Portuguese king had passed up on Magellan's bid to sail around the world, but he did not like the idea of Spain stepping in on the spice trade. He sent out his own fleet to intercept Magellan and make sure he never completed his voyage. Magellan packed enough supplies, assuming the islands were about here. They're actually here. His crew would not see land for more than 3 months. Magellan's log. March 1521. We should have arrived in the Spice Islands months ago. I start to wonder if the world is flat, and there really is nothing but the primordial ocean forever and ever. The good news is, our spoiled food has become infested with maggots. So if we eat them, a few of us might survive. I think we will look back on these days and smile. But those who don't, could it be I bear the guilt of bringing these hapless sailors to— Oh wait! There's land! Magellan's log, 15 to— Oh my god, is that a bald spot? I'm going bald! 15— My wife won't even recognize me when I get home. Sounds like someone forgot to order Keeps. Keeps is an online subscription service that makes it easy and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness from the comfort of their own home. Hair today, hair tomorrow. There are 2 FDA-approved hair loss treatment options on the market, and the thing to know about the one that Keeps offers is that you don't have to choose. They offer both. You can get either one, or a 2-in-1 gel that uses both at the same time. Hair power. Their shampoo is clinically shown to increase hair growth by 35%. Tress to impress. Keeps has helped nearly 1 million men keep their hair. Look at those before and afters. A cut above. Hair loss stops with Keeps. For a special offer to get started, go to keeps.com/jackrackham. Magellan had spotted Guam. A flurry of small boats came out to inspect the Spanish fleet, and the Chamorro people came aboard. Tragically, the European sailors were not familiar with the Chamorro custom of presenting gifts when arriving at an island, so when the Chamorro came aboard to take whatever they liked from their new guests, it came across like they were stealing anything that wasn't nailed down from a bunch of dudes who were so starved they could hardly stand, and things got a bit shooty. But in a day's time, with a little blood on his gun, some food in his belly, and the Chamorro village on fire, Magellan got his groove back. He took stock of the situation and brought his groove to the Philippines, where for the first time, the translator he brought with him could actually translate. They really had gone all the way around the backside of the world and back into semi-familiar territory. My friend, you have come far. Tell me about it. Tell your master we have food for the hungry and medicine for the sick. But what can we offer you for the goods you bring? Do you have gold here? More than we know what to do with. Okay, I don't think you should tell him that. Why not? I now pronounce you Spanish! The Rajas in the Philippines were so rich with gold, Magellan had to place a cap on how much of it his men could buy. He didn't want the Rajas to realize at these prices, his men were willing to trade everything they owned. Magellan himself was enthusiastically baptizing anyone who would listen to him. His crew was ready to move on, but Magellan smelled adventure. He pressed deeper into the Philippines to continue proselytizing, and when he heard one local leader didn't want to convert, "My brother in Jesus, Lapu-Lapu is a powerful leader. I will aid you in your fight." No need, my good man. When a real man of God throws down, the best thing you can do is watch and learn. Lapu-Lapu! The choice is yours. Be baptized in the waters of salvation or the fires of hell. Magellan's new Cebuano friends watched and learned as the 60 Europeans readied their guns and got surrounded by an army of 1,500 soldiers. Ha-ha! Why, this is no worse than Morocco! Did we win? Of the original 277 men who left Spain, the 143 survivors elected new leadership and faced the question of what to do next. Well, you know the enslaved translator who was supposed to go free in Magellan's will, who we forced to stay with us? He's been talking with one of the local kings a lot, and suddenly he really wants us to come to a feast, so I think we should do that. Of the original 277 men who left Spain, the 115 survivors elected new leadership and faced the question of what to do next. Unable to man all 3 ships, they set fire to the Conception, but with the remaining 2, they would continue their journey to the west. Sorry, not sure what came over me. In November 1521, more than 2 years after leaving Spain, the sailors finally reached the Moluccas, the Spice Islands. All the men who died in storms, froze to death, got drawn and quartered, succumbed to starvation, stabbed by Pacific Islanders. This is what it was all for. Buying 2 ship tons of taste good sprinkles. Oh, stop it. Stop it. You're showering me with riches. Where did you get all this stuff? We made some small detours on the way here. The ships were loaded, but one of them wasn't looking so good, so they split up. The Trinidad would stay in port for repairs and later set sail, going back east the way they came. They made it 5 weeks before they turned around, and then they got captured by the Portuguese. Oh yeah, the Portuguese! Remember the Portuguese? The whole reason Magellan went on this godforsaken adventure was because the Spanish king thought all of this was preferable to dealing with the Portuguese. The last leg of the journey would be carried out by one remaining ship sailing west, with a crew of about 50 running the gauntlet of Portuguese colonies on the way back to Spain. But you see, the crew had a plan to avoid these Portuguese colonies. Starve to death on the ocean. I guess after you've done it once, it's not so bad the second time, because they were literally passing the Portuguese colonies of Mozambique and decided food is for suckers. They made it all the way to West Africa until half the crew was dead before they finally made port at Cape Verde. In an unbelievable stroke of good luck, they were able to convince the Portuguese authorities that no somos americanos. Oh, americanos! Sí, americanos! Americanos! Ah, bem-vindo! Gracias, gracias. Hey, americanos! Hola, amigo! ¿Cómo está? Your buddy tried to buy rice with cloves. Cloves that grow in the Moluccas. You want to tell me how you ended up with a ship full of cloves, Americanos? Well, that's very easy, officer. You see, my friends and I, we were just coming from... No, guys, wait! The sailors left behind were so close to making it home. 2 months later, on September 8th, 1522, 3 years after 277 men left Sevilla, 18 of them made the voyage around the world and lived to tell about it. The Portuguese weren't able to stop the mission, and the men arrested in Cape Verde were eventually released. Of the men arrested by the Portuguese in the Moluccas, 5 survived long enough to see their freedom. The crew of the San Antonio turned around in South America and had been chilling in Sevilla for a year already. The captain who brought the circumnavigators home safely repeated Magellan's voyage to the Moluccas in 1525, where he promptly died of scurvy. Magellan's body remained in the Philippines as a war trophy. In Portugal, he was remembered as a traitor, and in Spain, the stories that his crew told of him weren't much more flattering. But I will say this, he left behind a hell of a story.